Hi there, Malcolm here with my 36th Booktube video, and today I'm going to have a go at my first tag this year, the mid-year freakout tag. Last year I did it on my blog, link to that below. I enjoyed compiling it so much I thought I'd do it again this year, but apparently I'm doing it in film version. And having read 68 books so far this year, I have a lot to sift through, so let's get cracking.
What is the best book you've read this year?
Oh, it's you again, is it? Grumly, everyone.
Hoi hoi.
Okay, the best book I've read this year happened in February. It's the 7th book of the brilliant The Expanse series by James S.A. Corey, Persepolis Rising. I'd also reread the first book, Leviathan Wakes, and I found that even after 7 books, the story writing and the characters are just as good as they were back then. Question 2.
What is the best sequel you've read so far this year?
Not counting the one I just showed you. Book 4 of Skullduggery Pleasant Dark Days by Dirk Landy. A supernatural YA series that raises the bar each book. Brilliant characters, witty dialogue, and some very fun ideas. Question 3.
What's new release you haven't read but want to?
We're in the middle of a heat wave. Aren't you really hot on that?
Yes, I'm melting. Can we get on with it, please?
Okay. A couple of months ago I picked up Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantero. Looks to be heavily inspired by Scooby-Doo. It's on my TBR. I have so many though that I've actually had to create a TBR jar to pick out which book of the month I'm going to read. I think I've already chosen this one for next month. Really want to read it. Question 4.
What? Is the average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
What do you mean, African or European?
I don't know that. What is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year?
If you read my blog, you won't be surprised to find that my most anticipated release will be Book 8 of The Expanse by James S.A. Corey, Tiamat's Wrath, which is due out in December. So long to wait!
What was your biggest disappointment?
My biggest disappointment might be a bit controversial because I know how popular this series is, and that's The Death Cure by James Dashner, Book 3 of the Maze Runner trilogy. A few years ago I'd read the first Maze Runner book, this is before even the film had come out, which I've still not seen. And this year I thought I'd give it another go, so I started with the prequel Kill Order, and then each month I read through one of the books. So it's a process that took 4 months. And it all built up to this book, which I just felt let me down horribly. The ending was very similar to the Silo trilogy by Hugh Howey, which I think did it better. There were so many questions through so many books that by the time they were given, they were completely irrelevant. And knowing how popular this series is, I thought it would be much better than it was. I didn't hate it, I don't think I'll ever read it again. And I'm only holding on to it in case my boys want to read it.
What was your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise was Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. This is a book my wife got out of the library, and due to circumstances I ended up reading to her. It isn't a book I would have picked up, certainly not a book I would have read out of choice, but thoroughly enjoyed it. And in fact so much we've actually got book 2 waiting upstairs. There's some really likeable characters. I'm obviously really into the sarcastic characters in books at the moment. There's some very good big reveals with significant payoffs. This was fun, this was enjoyable, and surprised the hell out of me.
Who is your favourite new author?
This was a book I picked up on a whim from the library. I'd never heard of her. I've not actually managed to read anything else by her yet. But back in January, I read Discount Armageddon by Sean and Maguire. This is book 1 of the Encrypted series. And a bit like with Spellslinger, this surprised me immensely on how much I enjoyed it. Again, sarcastic characters, very interesting ideas, and this is essentially a more modern version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not that the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer is that dated, but it takes on a slightly different slant. And it's certainly a series I would like to continue with.
Who's your newest fictional crush?
I'm going to cop out here and give my same answer I gave last year on my blog, which I'm not going to cheat on Angua from Men-at-Arms, a Discworld novel by Terry Pratchett, because she'd rip my throat out.
Who's your newest favourite character?
My newest favourite character would be Verity Price from Discount Armageddon, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer type character in the story. A girl forced into dealing with various encrypted creatures, but all she really wants to do is pursue a career in dancing. Not battle dancing or fight dancing or anything deadly about it, just normal dancing. I just found a really likeable character who stayed true to the Buffy the Vampire style without treading on Buffy's toes, as it were.
Which book made you cry?
A book that made me cry. I don't normally cry at books, and had I not just read it literally last week, I wouldn't be able to answer this question. And that's book 4 of the Wind of the Willows series, The Willows and Beyond by William Horwood. A thoroughly lovely book that by the end of I was a complete shambles. It also didn't help that the very next book I read, Father Christmas's Fake Beard by Terry Pratchett, opened with the following dedication. This book is dedicated to Terry's readers across the globe who waited patiently until December the 25th each year to unwrap the latest Pratchett. There may be no more novels, but oh, what a legacy. Rap.
Which book made you happy?
Sticking with Terry Pratchett, I'm certainly happiest reading books rereading the Discworld series. I've just reread Eric, the illustrated version this time, and utterly enjoyed it.
What was the best book to film adaptation you've seen?
Best book to film? No, it's not cheating. I'd say Marvel Avengers Infinity War. It was certainly one of the more epic cinema experiences.
What is the most beautiful book you bought?
Well, it's a trilogy actually. A rather lovely second-hand bookshop was closing, so we took advantage of grabbing as many books as we could, and I managed to pick up the Heliconia trilogy by Brian Aldiss. So I have Heliconia Spring, Heliconia Summer, and Heliconia Winter. Artwork even carries on over to the back. I just think they're really lovely covers. Also on my TBR pile.
Which is your best video or review you've done so far?
My best video was one of my earlier ones, actually the fourth one I ever did. At the time of filming has had 61 views, which on average is about 55 more views than any of the other book reviews I've done. It's my first filmed book review, and it was on Predator If It Bleeds, the short story collection, edited by Brian Thomas Smith. Now I don't know if it was the subject matter, although my other Aliens and Predator book reviews haven't fared nearly so well, some still have 0 views, or the fact that it's under 2.5 minutes long, but then none of my reviews are all that long. And for the curious, I'll leave a link to my review of this book in the information box down below. For comparison, my very next book review was for the Rage War Trilogy Book 1, Predator Incursion, at 2 minutes 42, and it has 5 views, the second highest of all the other book reviews I've done.
And what books do you have to read by the end of the year?
As many as I can. I would like to finish my Star Wars graphic novel collection. I've been going back through all my graphic novels. I've started with Star Wars. I've been going through them chronologically. I've just about got to the A New Hope era, and I would like to try and get through as many of those as I can by the end of the year, because I have a whole bunch of non-Star Wars related graphic novels I also want to reread. Unfortunately, I keep getting graphic novels out of the library, which is really hindering my progress. There we go, my first video book tag. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and a big thank you to my melting alter ego Grumley.
Thank you.
Without whom this video would have been a lot less bizarre. If you haven't already and would like a crack at this tag, then please feel free and do so. If you have done this tag and would like to share it with me, then please leave a link or a list in the comment section down below. Or if you have anything to say about any of the books I've shown you today, then again, I'd love to hear what you have to say. But as usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Until next time,
Bye.
see you later.